Hi, welcome to Assembly Update. I'm Assemblyman George Latimer. The most important news story of the week may in fact be the most important news story of the year and maybe over a longer stretch of time, and that has been the capture and the demise of Osama bin Laden. For those of us who live in Westchester County, the story has real personal involvement, for many of our neighbors died on that September day in 2001. Our guest on this edition of Assembly Update is a neighbor and a friend, Ronald James Sorenson, who is a member of American Legion Post 93 in Port Chester, and more importantly, is the executive director of the U.S. Citizens Alliance, and it has been his personal mission to make sure that the impact of 9/11 never passes away by making sure that we honor that in a very special flag that we would display in our country and for our purposes in our state. So, Ron, thank you very much for being with us here today.
It's a pleasure.
Tell us just briefly your reactions when you heard the news that Osama bin Laden had been captured and killed.
Well, it was late in the evening, and the President of the United States got on, and he started to explain that we finally got
Osama
bin Laden, and I find that it's incredible that we finally got him. It's 10 long years. The people, again, they rose up and all over the United States that they were pleased that they finally got him for what he had done to our people, killing all these people, injuring the people, and continuing to terrorize them throughout the world. So as a veteran, someone who served my country, and I look at these young men and women who serve our country, and I talk to many of them throughout the year, and I basically tell them that you are fighting for my freedom now as an older person, and applaud their actions and thank them for what they do, and hope that they're able to go back to school and they're okay. While on the other hand, we've lost over 5,000. Probably 40,000 have problems in the VA hospitals, and another 200,000 go there to be continually checked throughout the United States. I'm very concerned with the well-rounded figure of everybody who participates in the war against terrorism.
Well, and as that has played out since 9/11, the people we lost on that day, civilians, firefighters, police officers, EMS people, have now been added to by the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan, and that's, of course, the 5,000 young people who lost their lives to date, because we're still in both of those two countries with ongoing actions. But specifically...
You just reminded me, by the way, of something. The operating engineers in Long Island support this flag that we have. We have over 1,000 people who cleaned up Ground Zero that are dead, and thousands more that we just were able to receive some money from the federal government to help take care of them, and we forgot them almost also.
Ron, let's talk about the flag, because that has become a very important mission for you. What happened on 9/11, as I said at the outset, affected all of us. I lost friends, a person I worked with, some people I know who managed to barely escape the North Tower collapse, are people that I know very well. So it affected all of us here. And you've decided that the best way to remember those who are missing in the attack on our nation is through this flag. Perhaps you want to show it and tell us the story about how this flag has become your mission.
Well, this flag has been my mission even before the attack of 9/11. Missing in an attack on our nation, you will always be remembered. Yellow and black. Now that yellow, by the way, and black was picked by the people when they would tie ribbons around the tree. So I had to make sure that if I made an official flag in the United States, that it would not conflict with the American flag, the black POW MIA flag. They take prisoners, not hostages. Completely different war that we're fighting. And of course, the state flag. Now, I'd like the people to know that Rhode Island was the first to officially vote on it and fly it in 9/11, making it part of American history. And the Senate of New York State, they passed it. That was terrific, and we hope that this year we can get the Assembly members to do it, and of course the leadership of our Assembly and our Senate and our governor, and make it an official flag. And even if it becomes official, it doesn't cost any money. That's because the individual different cities and towns, they can get it and buy it and fly it if they want to. So it's really an incredible flag. And it's an international flag because if you change the bottom of it, you make it another country, and you make it the 9/11 date of that other country. So this is really...
where there's been a Madrid attack, a London subway attack,
Israel.
wherever terrorism has reared itself, there's a potential to link those things into the same scenario. I'm pleased to be sponsoring this bill in the Assembly now, and Jeff Klein from the Bronx is sponsoring it in his House. Tell us a little bit about the conversations you've had about the flag with individual members, what reactions you've got, and then we'll talk a little bit about how many members have signed on and all that stuff.
Well, the individual members, when you talk about majority, a great majority of the Assembly, and they support it, and I mean, I'm not a professional lobbyist where I'm there representing money for something. I'm representing patriotism and honor. I mean, no more and no less about what our country's about and what makes our country strong. So I created something that they absolutely love. And beside the elected representatives, I talk to no less than 4,000 people every year, and they say, keep up the good work. Now, if I was selling an automobile to them, they wouldn't say that. So this is really, really about what we're all about. We're all in this together, this war against terrorism and what's going to happen in the future, and we're in for the long haul. This is not going to be, well, it's over. We got one guy we were looking for 10 years. It's just going to be whatever it is. But wouldn't it be nice if we had this flag and they fly it? Imagine all over the United States they say, you know, we have something made by an American, a veteran. No matter where he comes from, it's the United States, and make this work.
You mentioned Rhode Island has adopted this as an official flag.
Yes.
And I assume this effort is going on in other states besides New York. Any report of how it's going out there elsewhere in the country?
Remember now, I'm only one person, but we went to Jersey, and we made an effort there. We couldn't get done what we wanted to. What was amazing, though, about this flag, I believe this is the first flag ever voted on in a state, county, and city. In the county of New Jersey, which was Bergen County, they voted to fly it. Then they didn't fly it. 1 year later, they got 2 terrorists from Bergen County. I don't know if that has any reflection on why they didn't do it, but this is our country. And this is a flag that simply honors people. It's not out there to do anything but to make us remember the sacrifice of every part of people, all areas and all types, that say, this is for us.
Well, and I think as those of us who've experienced the 9/11 day, the horrible day that's almost 10 years now ago, and we think of individuals that we knew who were lost that day, and not just those of us who know that here in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, people in Northern Virginia who had relatives who were in the Pentagon, or the people who were on the various planes. We lost a terrific young athlete, Chris Mello, from Rye, who was based in Boston and flying on a plane that day that went into the World Trade Center. We lost individuals who were firefighters and police officers who went in to save the civilians, and we lost civilians who there just went for a day of work. And I don't think any of us who were adults on that day will ever forget what that day was. It came actually the day before my daughter's 16th birthday. And so now she has a searing memory that ties into her sweet 16 memory. And the loss doesn't go away even when we catch the evildoers that are responsible for it. And I think you raise an important point, which is that the end of terrorism doesn't end with the capture or the demise of any set of individuals. There is an alien philosophy out there which doesn't believe that we can disagree and debate, and in a democratic society, you win or I win, but at the end of the day, we still live in peace, even where we disagree. This is you will do what I tell you to do, or we will destroy you, and we will dominate you by obliterating you. And that philosophy we can't coexist with. Now, back to the flag. We have a bill in the Assembly, which I'm sponsoring. Jeff Klein has the bill in the Senate.
Oh, and by the way, I really applaud your actions to immediately jump in, because we know each other before you jumped in to support this flag, where we had it flying at the Veterans Memorial in Port Chester, and we had met there, and this is a long haul, and over the years, and George Latimer, Assemblyman, he just jumped right in and he said, this is a great bill, and we want to love everybody and get it passed, and I got to applaud your actions for that, well, definitely.
I think it's very simple. It's the right thing to do. We have seen in places like Port Chester, and we've seen each other at some of the other American Legion and VFW events, and in the Sound Shore. This obviously is a statewide initiative, much bigger than just our home turf. But the fact that you're a member of the Portchester American Legion Post, we're very happy to have you, in the neighborhood, and we know that you live here in the state, your family's here, and that's important. We have gotten in the State Assembly about 45 co-sponsors. Now, you have 150 members of the Assembly, and you need 76 positive votes to pass something. We've gotten 45 co-sponsors to the bill, which is a good start, and they're about roughly evenly split between Republicans and Democrats, which is very important. I don't know if people at home really recognize that many times in Albany, a bill sponsored by a Democrat, no Republicans sign on. A bill sponsored by a Republican, no Democrats sign on. That's not the case in this bill. This is a bill that it doesn't matter what political party you're in, we've had across-the-board support for it. And in the Senate, you're making some progress. You passed it in the past years, and you're making some progress this year, I gather?
Well, the Senate passed it in 2008 overwhelmingly, and we hope they'll do it again this year. We hope Senator Klein will get it done, and that's incredible. I'd like to bring something to your attention.
Okay, we only have a couple of minutes left, so.
I don't know if you can zoom in on this, if you possibly can, but if you can, these are three people I'd like to mention. The Congressional Medal of Honor, Michael Murphy, is in the left-hand side. That's his mother and father. Engeldrum was the first policeman and firefighter killed in New York City. He was both. And Brandon Morocco at the top lost his arms and his legs and one eye. These people we give flags to. This is an incredible thing. We present these flags and raise the money to do that also. It's not just about legislation. And we're the only ones, if I want you to close on this for 30 seconds, this is a cemetery, the Veterans Cemetery in Long Island, where we displayed the flag that we made similar to taking the gravesite American flag and put it in. Can you imagine this is an official flag that anybody who lost their son or husband can take this flag that we have and place it in the cemetery? I think that's incredible statement to make as an American, as a veteran, that we sit here today and we can create these type of things and pray to God that that whoever has to make it official and make it be so that we can follow the leader, it's absolutely incredible if we get it done.
Well, I think there's no question that the respect that we show for the fighting men and women, the respect that we show for the people who made a sacrifice, the police, the fire, the EMS people, those who were on the ground and went up in the tower to try to save people's lives that day and put their lives in jeopardy and lost their lives, the families that have to live without a father or a mother, the children that weren't born because dad died beforehand. The pain is incalculable. But at least, Ron, what you're trying to do, and what I hope to help you do, is to make sure that these people aren't forgotten. And I think that's really the mission here. We've been talking with Ron James Sorenson, who's a member of the American Legion Post 93 in Portchester, resident of our beautiful state of New York, who is the executive director of the U.S. Citizens Alliance, and he is promoting legislation that would make the MIA-OON flag, missing in attack on our nation, an accepted flag in New York State so it can be flown from public buildings and certainly used in certain appropriate occasions. So, Ron, you're certainly working on the right side of the issue, and we thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for your constant advocacy.
It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, and we'll see you in Portchester. If you have any question on any issues that are affecting state government, feel free to give me a call at my district office, 777-3832. I'm Assemblyman George Latimer. Thanks for tuning in to Assembly Update, and we'll see you the next time. Have a good day.